There's something about mountains that swallows sound. The wind, the birds, even footsteps, everything vanishes into silence, just like those 13 kids did. The small mountain town of Marrow Creek, Colorado, nestled in the San Juan Range, was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, or thought they did. On October 14, 1995, the 8th grade class of Marrow Creek Middle School set off for their annual nature hike in the Red Hollow Wilderness, a 6-hour guided trek into one of the most remote forested zones in the state. The bus dropped them off at 7:20 a.m. 13 students, 2 parent chaperones, and their science teacher, Mr. Daryl Keene. Only one adult would make it back. Daryl stumbled out of the forest at dusk, scratched, soaked, and bloodied. When rescuers reached him, he could barely speak. "They're gone." I looked away, and they were just gone. Authorities launched the largest search operation in Colorado history. Hundreds of volunteers, dogs, helicopters, and even thermal imaging units scoured Red Hollow for 3 straight weeks. Nothing. No backpacks. No clothing. No signs of struggle or wildlife attack. Only a child's red mitten found dangling from a pine branch 20 feet up. No prints around it. The media frenzy was merciless. The town turned inward. Mr. Keene, once beloved, became a pariah. Though cleared of wrongdoing, he never taught again. Rumors of cults, wild animals, underground bunkers, even alien abductions spread like wildfire. But the files were quietly shelved as a cold case by 2002. Then came the fire. In early spring of 2023. A wildfire tore through Red Hollow after a dry lightning storm ignited a remote stretch of the northern forest. When the fire was finally contained, a national forestry team surveying damage came upon something that had been hidden for decades, a small cabin built into the hillside, its front nearly invisible under brush and earth. It had clearly withstood the flames, but the real horror was inside. Inside the cabin were 13 identical cots, each with a child's name carved above in the wood. A rusted dinner bell hung over the door. Drawings were pinned to the walls, some cheerful, others unnerving. One showed a man with a long black shadow for a face. Another, a maze of trees with the words, "He never sleeps," scrawled in childlike handwriting. A metal box in the floor contained rolls of undeveloped camera film, brittle with age. When processed, the photos stunned investigators. The 13 missing kids, aged 11 to 13, were seen sitting at a wooden table, alive, gaunt, dirty, but unmistakably them. Dated March 1996, 5 months after they'd vanished. A second box contained handwritten journals. Excerpt: Journal entry, Kayla B., age 12. He rings the bell at dawn. "We can't look outside. The trees move wrong. Kevin tried to run. He didn't get far. We stopped asking questions. We just do what the bell tells us now." Excerpt: Journal entry, Bryce H., age 13. "The cabin is alive. There's something in the walls. Sometimes I hear my mom's voice, but she's not calling my name. It's calling someone else's. I don't think it's her. I don't think we're in Colorado anymore." Only one name was missing from the Dindei. Journal logs. Mr. Keene. The discovery reignited national attention. The FBI reopened the case, now under a new task force dubbed Project Red Echo. Cadaver dogs were brought in, but the cabin yielded no bodies. No remains, no blood. Just traces of hair and fingernail DNA, confirming all 13 children had been inside, likely for months, possibly years. But who was ringing the bell? Further investigation revealed carvings beneath the floorboards, tally marks in groups. Of 7, one wall had the phrase, "We dream," in red, etched repeatedly. Investigators found a crude map showing a path beyond the cabin into a section of forest not listed on any modern survey. Weeks after the cabin's discovery, a woman named Angela Mercer came forward. She had been a freshman in 1995, a few years older than the vanished kids. She claimed she had seen someone in the woods that day, a man in a ranger's uniform who told her to turn back, that the trail was closed. She obeyed, thinking nothing of it. But his uniform didn't have a nameplate. Angela's memory jogged an old report. Buried in the original case files, an anonymous call from a hiker who said they saw a man herding children deeper into the woods hours after the group supposedly vanished. Facial recognition tech was run on the processed photos. One image, a reflection in a window, showed a partial face. It wasn't Mr. Keene. It matched someone else entirely. Raymond Avery, a retired forest ranger who had disappeared in 1994, presumed dead in a canoe accident. His personnel file revealed disturbing entries, behavioral warnings, reports of paranoia. Drawings he submitted during psychological evaluations, including one near identical to the shadow-faced man the kids drew. The cabin, it turned out, had been built in 1971 by Avery's father, a survivalist. The perfect hideout, but that didn't explain how the kids survived for so long, or how they all vanished again. Because here's the final twist, the real twist. 2 weeks after the media frenzy died down, Angela Mercer received an unmarked envelope in her mailbox. Inside was a photo, faded but clear. 13 kids, in modern clothing, standing in front of a gas station. Dated April 14th, 22/3.28. Years to the day. The children hadn't aged a day. They were alive. Somewhere. And someone had taken them. Again. Angela brought the photo to the FBI. The image was authenticated. The gas station? A now abandoned building in upstate New York. Investigators raced to the scene, but it was empty. Only a note was taped to the gas pump. Not ready yet. The bell hasn't rung. In the months that followed, strange symbols began appearing across. Marrow Creek, carved into tree trunks, etched into bus stops, even burned into barn doors. Always the same phrase, "We dream," in red. And then, the bell. On October 14th, 2023, exactly 28 years since the disappearance, a camper recorded an eerie, low chime echoing through the Red Hollow forest. The sound repeated every dawn for 13 days. After that, silence. The case remains open. The town of Marrow Creek has mostly emptied, its residents scattered. Mr. Keene, reclusive for years, was last seen boarding a bus to somewhere in Montana. His parting words to a former colleague, "They're not lost. They were chosen, and they're still waiting." In 1995, 13 children vanished. In 2023, we found where they were held, but not where they went. The forest of Red Hollow is quiet again, but beneath the roots, behind the trees, the echoes remain. And the bell, if you listen closely, still rings at dawn.